Low cloud coverage was more extensive this morning. It's going to help lead to 1 to 7 degrees of cooling today. Temperatures dropping into the 70s and 80s for the most part. Tomorrow will cool down a little bit more, but by Sunday temperatures kind of moderate and we'll see very similar conditions into early next week. Right now we're in the 60s and 70s across much of the county at 62 in Escondido, 71 in Mira Mesa, 69 in Chula Vista, and 66 out in Alpine. We're continuing to see reduced visibility. Looks like it just improved in Ramona. That means the low clouds have lifted. They were down to 200 feet. We saw visibility down to 0, but now again those clouds have cleared. Visibility slightly reduced though in Encinitas. We're not going to see any more problems with reduced visibility under a mile as the clouds are now breaking away back to the coastline. Temperatures though will be cooler today thanks to that extensive marine influence, back into the 70s and 80s for the most part. We'll hit 81 in Kearney Mesa, 75 in Coronado, 83 in Lemon Grove. Just a handful of low 90s out there today. It'll be 90 degrees in Escondido, 94 in Ramona, and 93 in Valley Center. But we'll be in the 70s along the North County coastline, the 80s in San Marcos and Rancho Bernardo, also in the 80s in the mountains where we are expecting wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour today. And we are going to see very dry conditions in the mountains and deserts. Temperatures now much closer to average for this time of year, right where we should be actually in San Diego, Oceanside, and Campo, and slightly above average in Kearney Mesa, Escondido, and El Cajon. But again, we're going to cool a little bit more into tomorrow, so we'll take a look at those numbers. Plus, we'll talk more about the fire danger coming up here in just a bit. First, let's get you caught up this morning to the 20 and 30 percentile. It's still very dry out over toward the mountains and deserts. Yesterday, relative humidities were in the teens this hour, so we have seen improvement, but just not enough to get us out of that red flag territory. Closer to the coastline, we have the fog this morning. In fact, that marine influence extending all the way out to Ramona, where relative humidities are much higher. That's going to help cool our temperatures today. We'll be in the 70s at the immediate coastline, in the 80s with a few low 90s well inland. It'll be 90 in Escondido, 90 in Lakeside, 91 in El Cajon. But we will hit just 85 in La Mesa and Mira Mesa, 87 in Fallbrook, 79 for Chula Vista, and 76 in Encinitas. Your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Cooler today, a little cooler tomorrow inland, but temperatures now pretty much we saw out there this morning. We're looking live in Fallbrook where the low clouds have basically cleared. We're seeing a little bit of that fog lingering around, but again, it has basically cleared out there this morning. We're looking at a red flag warning over the mountains and deserts that's been extended today. It was supposed to expire yesterday, but it's still fairly dry in these locations. It'll be fairly warm, and we'll see wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour today, which is why the red flag warning has been extended. So our humidities have recovered a little bit for our mountain communities and desert spots. We are in the 20 and 30 percentile right now. Yesterday at this time, we were in the single digits and teens. So it's still a little bit better today, but dry. So we're going to keep that red flag warning in effect. Closer to the coastline, relative humidities are much higher thanks to that stronger marine influence, which is going to keep our temperatures a little bit cooler today. We'll hit 76 in Encinitas, 77 in San Diego, 85 in Mira Mesa, 87 in Fallbrook, a handful of low 90s inland, and we'll be in the 80s in the mountains. As we look towards the coastline, we do have a beach hazard statement in effect because we have high surf. South-southwest swell, 4 to 6 feet. Out there today, this will continue all weekend long, and we have a risk of strong rip currents. So if you're not a strong swimmer, you probably don't want to go too far into the water through the weekend. Your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel.